Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Orion. I'm doing some live looping for you all. We'll be starting our workshop shortly. I'm just starting with a few of my own original live loops, just demonstrating a bit of how I make music using this Boss RC 505 looper and my synthesizers here. So, all right, thank you. That last track was just a jam, and so is this next one. But I will be featuring a kalimba made by Jason Love Goodman from Bellingham, one of our good friends. And so, yeah, I'm going to get started with that. And, all right, thank you again for joining us. Thank you. Just kind of improvising around here. We're still getting set up with some technical stuff. In the meantime, I'm going to keep making a few more loops for you all. These are all original loops that are being created right here, right now. Even the drums, the bass, all of it. And I'm going to explain how I'm making all these later. All right, thank you for joining us. And please feel free to drop a comment, let us know, or let me know you're listening. I want to hear some feedback. And if you have any questions or requests, no guarantees. But I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Nice intro. That sounds sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just exploring being in a flow state on the looper here and just making up music using, the tools at hand and the music theory in mind.
Nice. Cool. Well, hey, welcome everyone. Nick Taylor and Orion Lackey here. We're going to talk about some fun stuff with loopers today and, digital effects and routing and, just like aesthetics towards looping as well and some of our personal experiences behind it. And hopefully this info is useful. So, yeah, if you guys appreciate it, throw some love back and talk to us and ask questions. And, we're have a tip link somewhere. We tried to get it up on the screen today, but kind of ran out of time, but it should be pinned in the links and all that. So yeah, let's get started. You feeling good?
Yeah, definitely. Thank
Sweet.
you for having me here, Nick. Like, it's such an honor to be here at Bellingham School of Music doing this. Like, we know it's crazy times out there, and we all have to adjust, but this is where we're at, and we're able to connect with so many people in a new way. So just want to give a shout out to you in this music school and Connor Helms and the whole crew that's helping make this happen. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Super glad to do it and super glad that we have the resources and some, awesome people around here to help us produce these streams. So yeah, we were going to do a intro jam, but you were already holding that down. So let's just jump right kind of into it. We're probably going to be going about an hour 15 tonight. And you can find the description of our topics in the link, or not in the link, but, on the descriptions of Facebook and YouTube. And we're going to talk about the three kind of loopers that we have here today, the DL4, the Boss RC30, and the Boss RC505. And then also, how you can use it as a practice tool and a one-man band, and then like in a group setting doing improv. So let's kick it off here. Connor, if you want to kind of get my pedal board up on the close-up. We're going to talk about this DL4 really quick. I got to move my leg out of the way. So we can think about this thing as a basic one here, like similar to like the Boss RC 1 or 3. We're just going to start out really simple and talk about how you can play a guitar into this thing and then also loop it and then add layering and just a couple little strategies you can use to do that. I wanted to talk first about my routing, so I won't get into this 8-string guitar thing yet, but that's going to come here. So I'm just going to talk about my guitar is going into the pedal board here. I'm going to grab my mic so I can point stuff out. So this is out of the picture right now. We're going to do my guitar's coming into my overdrive, and then the wah, volume. We have a rotary effect. We have the reverb, and then here's the delay pedal. So I'm not going to mess around with any delays on it right now, or how, the specifics behind this pedal. There's plenty of tutorials out there about that. So yeah, I'm just going to turn the loop up and all the delays down, and I'll just kind of give you a little demo on what we can do here. Yeah, and I forgot to say, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to do that. We're going to be checking the chat as much as we can. We want this to be a Q&A session as much as possible. So, understanding rhythm. I guess, Connor, you can flip back up to the main view for just a second. I wanted to talk about. I'm going to look at my notes too because this is a lot to remember. Like the class is going, you want to start with the basic looper, that or the RC1 or the RC3. If you haven't done looping before, it's easy to get lost in a thing like Orion's where there's like effects and 5 channels and all that. So, and I think this is a really good thing to just help you really focus in on looping because it is really hard to loop and it takes a lot of practice. A lot of people think it's easy, but it's like when you're a drummer, you have to have that extra like uppity feeling of the rhythm. No one knows you're messing up as the drummer unless you no one notices you as much unless you mess up, you know, like you are the groove. It's like a car, you know, not firing on all the cylinders. If you aren't 100% in the groove and feeling it like you're dancing, like, you know, that's where you got to be, you know, just to get a nice loop, I feel like, you know. But yeah, and so let me try this out here. Know how many measures you're going to be looping. That's important. And yeah, listening too, it's really easy to loop too loudly or too softly, as you'll discover when you start doing this. Yeah, and then practice and have fun with it. So let me give you a little demo. I'm just going to do an A to the D and yeah, do a little demo. So yeah, and this also too, this looper does not have a rhythm assist on it or a metronome. So this one would actually be harder to start out versus the RC1 or 3. I believe those have little built-in drum machines or metronome in them. So yeah, so that's kind of, but I just wanted to start with this one because it's more simple than the other one. So what I'm going to do, Connor, if you're going to pull up the close-up view, and I'll get this chord out of the way, is this is the loop function. And so if I hit that, it'll start looping. This one only loops about 18 seconds or so, maybe longer. And if you hit that button again, it'll stop looping, or sorry, it'll restart the loop, and it'll start looping, and then it'll continue recording. So if you want to set a loop and start jamming on it, you just have to remember to hit it twice when you're done with the loop. So let me just try this out. So I'm going to start it on the 1. I always like to get in the groove first, you know, instead of just like, and then like trying to do it, you know, it's just like, I feel like that's important. 1, 2. Right, so I had to make sure exactly to hit that 1 right on the 1, and I hit it twice so it's not looping anymore. So that's a pretty good loop. So now you can, if you want to start layering other things on it, it'll just keep layering. So let's do that really quick too until you hit the button again. And I know that it's a 2-measure loop, right? If you count it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's, I'm going to think of phrases in that. And I like to play around before I start looping too, so I can find my lick and what I'm going to do. Whoop, stopped it on accident. Right, so me and Orion were talking about this earlier. When you're doing live loops, you're gonna mess up. I mean, I've been doing it for at least 15 years, and I'm sure you're maybe a little less. We can get into that later, but let me keep going here. But anyway, you gotta be sure to just keep it going. Don't give up. So, and then stop it. So yeah, that's a really kind of easy way to use that as a practice tool. And, you know, I'd say a prerequisite for this one is being able to play well with the metronome, already having or without a metronome, and being you've already practiced a lot with it. And you have a good sense of time, because it's really hard to get nice, steady, clean loops. So yeah, and just practice it. I wanted to talk about a couple other features if you want to go back to the close-up view, Connor. This button just starts it over and over. Right, so you can kind of use that when you're jamming along. I don't know why it just quit on me. Oh yeah, that's right. That one only goes one time through. That one just keeps going. And one interesting thing you can do with this one is you can double click this right pedal and it'll reverse it. So one other thing you can do here, I didn't want to get into this yet, but I'm just going to do it since we're on the subject. I'm going to show you how you can kind of add percussion with the guitar with using delay and also reverb. So I'm going to turn my delay on. My reverb's on already. Yeah, so just trying to figure out a rhythm that kind of matches the speed of the loop that I'm doing. Right, so the reverb makes a big difference. Let me turn it off and show you guys the difference. Pretty cool, but you know, it's a preference thing. So I'm going to loop that. My button is sticking today. That's weird. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't want to spend too much time on this one. So yeah, that is it. If anyone has any questions, be sure to post them. You guys were kind of, Orion and Connor, I think, are monitoring the chat. So I'm going to get into the next thing here. Let me just double check my notes though. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, so I got into looping because I really like singing and beatboxing and doing acapella stuff. And I saw Keller Williams and Zach Deputy and Reggie Watts and, well, EOTO is more electronic, but those three people really influenced me to get into looping. And yeah, that's kind of my history behind it. And I really, you know, personally enjoy playing music better with a band, but this is really fun as well, and it's in its own way. I feel like I'd like it a lot more if I had time to do it. I just have, you know, only so much time to do stuff these days with running the school too. So yeah, so let's just get on to the next one. But yeah, if you haven't checked either of those guys out, do that for sure. They are amazing artists and musicians and loopers. Cool. I'm going to go through my routing now for the whole setup for the Boss RC30. So if you want to get the main camera 2 view, Connor, I'm going to talk about my guitar quick. So this guitar was invented by Charlie Hunter in probably the early 90s, maybe earlier. He now plays something similar. He calls it the Big Six, which is the same as this minus the bottom 2 strings, and the strings are probably spaced apart a little further. There's 2 sets of pickups on this one. I have 3 bass strings EAD. Out of tune somehow. I gotta tune those. And then the guitar without a low E. And so it has 2 outputs, if anyone can see that. And so I have my guitar running through the pedal board. We already kind of covered that. And I didn't mention, though, it's important to have your looper at the end of your chain, signal chain, so you can use all of those effects to, you know, spice up your loops if you have a, you know, pedal board going on. So it comes out of my pedal board at the DL4, and then it goes into the looper in one channel. And then... yeah, here, Connor, can you get that close up? I'm going to point down here. So yeah, the guitar is here. So this thing has 3 inputs. It has one here, and then my bass is going directly in. And then my vocals, actually, I have my vocals going in through the aux in. And I have 2 microphones here. I use one of them, the one I'm talking in now, kind of more for the trebly and obviously talking to y'all through. And this one is more for my beatbox, which I haven't really done that yet, but I'll give you a demo of the difference in the sound. So here's a little, maybe I can beatbox. You want to throw a bass line on it or something?
Sure.
Let's let them hear the difference though quick. Right? So that's that one, and then so yeah, there's kind of a smiley face EQ on that one. Scooped the mids out and bumped up the sides for the bass and treble. So yeah, I have that running into my looper. Like I said, I really like doing acapella stuff. So I'm gonna kick this loop off. This is kind of like going into the one-man band type performance, if you will. I'll probably be playing mostly by myself on this one, but Orion, you should pop in on the there's like a floaty section towards the end. Okay. Connor, can you bring up the outline again and scroll down to the song? I just wanted to talk to everyone about it really quick before we start. Yeah, and then keep me in the main view if I can find it. So this is like a predetermined loop. Next we're going to talk about live looping with Orion. I mean, he has probably some predetermined ones too, but this one I've been practicing. And yeah, it starts out. I just wanted to talk to you guys about it a little bit before I get into it. I chose some notes that fit in several keys. So I kind of like to really transition smoothly in between sections. Like one section has elements from the previous section and the next section, or it has notes from both sections. So those are like the transition parts that connect the sections, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense? I'm kind of getting sidetracked. I'm excited to do this thing.
I think, yeah, it'll make more sense just once we hear it. But yeah, I think that's important to know that there are different sections that you already have planned. It's kind of like how a song might have a chorus and a verse, and they're kind of related to each other. You're using common ideas between them, at least so that they fit together, but there's subtle differences too, usually. But yeah, go ahead and show us what you're working with.
Cool. Yeah, so this one's going to be an instrumental, featuring some acapella intro. So I have 2 channels on this thing. So I'm going to be recording my beatbox into channel 1 and then the guitar into channel 2. And I'm going to be cueing them on and off as we go through. And yeah, Connor, you could probably even, flash back and forth to the outline every now and then when I do this. It's probably going to take like 6 or 7 minutes to do this whole thing. So here we go. Yeah, and if you're just joining us, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions on what we're doing, please ask. We're going to stop after this and answer some questions. All right. I can turn that down. My sound man Nick is monitoring the audio. Thanks, man, for doing that for me. I can turn that down. Oh, geez. My sound man Nick is... All right, so yeah, I got to start that one over. Ultimate fail. No, that you're watching out for me, man. And I'm just getting distracted, so here we go. You guys notice my little mistake in there? I had a little hiccup. Listen to that. Did I hear it? All right, let's keep it going. grab the bass from you. Section. B minor. Let's have a little Orion outro feature. Nice. Yeah, I can never tell like when we end because we mesh with those like ambient things, and so I was like, I tried to end this thing and it's still going, and I'm like, wait, it's Orion, he's still going. So yeah, do we have any questions so far from anybody? Nothing? No worries. Well, let's keep it rolling. Yeah, let us know too how it sounds out there. So Orion's gonna take it away next, and so I know he told me that our friend Bailey, if you're watching, Bailey kind of got him into looping, and he started on one of these, the Boss RC30s. So yeah, you want to kind of tell us how you got into looping and your influences, all that, and then tell us what you're gonna do with your 505?
Yeah, awesome. Wow, I'm so actually excited to be here. I'm feeling a little nervous, in fact, standing in front of nobody. Like, I know you all are watching, and you're all joining us at different places in the world and different times in this life, and so grateful to be here. But yeah, I started my looping process, like Nick mentioned, kind of took some encouragement from a friend, Bailey, and she was doing these shows at the Swillery, this bar downtown, and I was just like, that sounds so much fun to just go without a plan and just create music live and not necessarily have a plan every time. And that's what made me fall in love with looping. I also played a lot of music up at Mount Baker and with Nick up there too, but sometimes I needed a solo show that I could expand on, so that also got me more into looping so I could do my own thing.
Free tickets.
Yeah, well, we earned those things.
Yeah,
man.
we did.
And
yeah.
Thank
you, Chuck Luce, for putting on, being up for organizing the music up there.
Yeah, also, I've gone, I gotta say, like, Shebang at the Quarry has helped me by letting me play music there, and going to Oregon Country Fair has always been inspiring. I was in the Endorphins. All that got me set on my path with looping. It's kind of like a mosaic of all these incredible experiences I've had have come to looping. But with this looper that I have, it's the Boss RC505. It has 5 separate tracks that I can work with. Yeah, like it has input effects, output effects. So if I do an input effect like reverb, oh my goodness, sorry guys. Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's get a close up on that looper too.
anyway, yeah, I'm using this looper. I have 2 synthesizers here. This upper one is used mainly for bass stuff. Like I use this effect very often for like this. Let me see. Can I? Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Oh my goodness. All right, so there's my usual bass tone. This lower keyboard I use for drums. I also use for piano and acoustic effects. But the cool thing about having a looper with so many tracks is that you can take a song that normally you'd play on the piano and divide the parts up. Like you can have one track for the bass, one track for the chords, one track for the melody, and drums on another track. And that allows you to make a background that you can interact with. And that's what I've learned through experimenting with looping so much. That's kind of what my process is about. And through that exploration, I've come up with ideas that I can either recreate, or you can kind of take a concept in music theory, like a key and a scale, and you can come up with something new on the spot. But yeah, some of my influences, especially like with this particular looper, the Boss RC505, like I've been really influenced by and inspired by Dub FX, Reggie Watts. There's this woman named Nastia Maslova. I think that's how you say her name, but she does what I do with like keyboards and a looper. There's also this thing called the Grand Beatbox Battle that if you are ever considering getting a 505, like do some YouTubing, checking that out. And there's these people like MB14 or Sam Perry who are just unbelievable just with looping with their voices. And that's honestly what inspired me to start looping myself. And yeah, so I'm going to kind of play a loop that I'm planning to do. So I'm not improvising, but I am improvising after it's a combination of just simple ideas and then improvising with that. But anyway, this is an idea that I came up with in July. And before I get started, I want to give a warning. This is all live looping. It's a very messy process. Like I've spent enough time where often I can loop without a hiccup, as you might say, or like an accident, but there's a ton of room for error. And that's one reason why it's such a unique process. Like with working with Ableton Live or any other DAW, you're able to spend a lot of time in the studio perfecting your sound and having a song that will, you work really hard at and then you press play and it's there. But this is kind of a reverse process. You take the idea of a song and you have to create it every time live. And there's no room for error if you're performing it. So as a music teacher, just, my advice is to stick with it, keep practicing. It takes a lot of understanding of music theory and learning your favorite songs. That's where, if you need help, if you take some lessons, talk to Nick or I at the music school and we'll help you with your process. But I'm going to get started with this song, and I'm a little nervous, but here I go.
You want me to stay out of this one, or you just...
Let me build it, and you can hop in if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nick, we don't have our loopers synchronized, so it's hard for us to loop at the same time. Right now, I have a tap tempo going in my headphones, so I can hear a click track that you guys can't hear. So I'm going to kind of start just with a simple idea. Like this first column here, I'm going to be on the chord E. The second column over here, I'm going to be on the chord A. And then eventually, I'm going to go to the chord C sharp minor for this track 3. But I'm going to give each one its own rhythm. And on track 5, I'm going to do a drum beat. So let's see how this works out. It's really hard to explain it as I'm doing it and play something from my heart that I feel. But here it goes. I'm still in reverse from that last track, so. Into the A. But now I'm going to record that. Right back to E. So I just have an E chord with, you know, a little bit of rhythm. It's kind of more an arpeggiated thing. Now I'm going to add a bass line to each of these tracks. 1, 2, here we go. Now I'm going to overdub it. Now to the A. Okay, now I got something cool that I can kind of play with here. Since I know I'm in the key E, I'm just gonna explore in the E major pentatonic scale. And Nick's gonna join me here with some sounds too.
Background.
So I'm gonna put on an effect, I'm gonna put on some delay. I'm gonna record that. So now I'm gonna play around with some of my track effects here. So I really like this thing called beat repeat.
Nice. Yeah, that's something I don't have on any of my loopers. Yeah, that's a big difference between these ones and then that one. Built-in effects. I mean, I have the, you know, the pedals and stuff I can do that with, but I'd say that's kind of the main difference between our setups. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah, that's probably one of them. Yeah, it's just different loopers, do different things. But
Yeah.
anyway, okay, so the trick with looping too is keeping it fresh. Like, okay, it's gonna get repetitive pretty quick here. So I'm gonna get the bass drum going with that beat repeat. And now I'm gonna come up with a new part of the song here. I'm gonna do that third part that I mentioned in C sharp minor. So here we go. Oh, I forgot there's delay on there, so sorry. There we go. So 1, 2, here we go. Now I'll do a bass line over that.
Nice.
It's always better to keep things simple when you're looping. Like, it's easy to overcomplicate things. But now I got a lot of things I can interact with here.
We should throw some of that auto-tune vocal over the top too eventually. Sounds kind of cool.
right, so I'm going to wrap it up here because they could really go on and on. It's very easy to lose track of time while you're looping. All right, so thank you. That was just my July idea. You can find like a little recording of that when I actually was improv, like making it up on SoundCloud. I have a SoundCloud at Music with Orion. Very, amateur level recording stuff. I'm working on it. This is a good first step. But anyway, does anyone have any questions about that process? I see some more people have joined us. I saw Bailey out there in Hawaii.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think Connor saw a question on the YouTube. I can't see it on my phone for some reason.
Oh, my roommates are watching too. What's up, everybody?
And, I guess, Nick, if you can see anything, let us know. Any questions?
Yeah, one of the questions was from Mark, and he asked about stomping the pedal at the right time to get the loop starting, if you had any advice on how to kind of like be more accurate with that.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so Mark Lorenz just at Mark Lorenz, right? Yeah, man, how you doing? Thanks for chiming in. And he was asking, how can I get my, timing more precise for when to hit the loop pedal? So several things, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because I forgot to mention about starting on the one versus starting off the one. So I want to talk about that. Plus I want to kind of talk about just like my position. Is he talking about a looper in particular, or?
Use the Boss DD20.
Okay, yeah, I think that's similar to a foot pedal one. So what I kind of do, I kind of like tap my foot and have it just going right, ready to go. It's, kind of up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. I've seen people kind of do this and get ready, but, I feel like this is like you are a drummer and you got to be dancing with the beat, and so it just kind of helps to stomp your foot and then be like, boom, stomp your foot, down, boom, stomp your foot, T, forward, boom, stomp your foot, right, down, boom, stomp. So other thing you can do, so you can also get these hiccups. Orion brought that up. So in a hiccup, I call it a hiccup. It happens when you don't hit the pedal right on time. And you get this like ba-da kind of thing, kind of sound. So let me see if I can recreate that so you guys can hear that. Right? So that one was actually way off. I went too far. Let me try it one more time. That was a clean one. I can't do it. But I know, but so anyway, like what you can do to avoid the hiccup, let me try it one more time. So anyway, what I'm getting at is sometimes you get that Buddha at the beginning. I'm sure if you guys are loopers or know what I'm talking about. And so what you can do, and this kind of comes down to even if you're going to loop it on the one, is, what I brought up right away at the beginning of the class is that having that deeper understanding of rhythm and being able to subdivide down to 16th notes. Because if you're trying to, keep the beat and keep it steady without a metronome playing, for me it helps to subdivide. So instead of counting it like 1, 2, 3, 4, when I'm getting ready to hit the loop, I'm like 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4 and right? Or 1 and 2 and 3. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, right?
Do you have a metronome going through your looper though, or is this all in your head that you're keeping track of the timing?
So this is, thanks for bringing that up. So I'm explaining a scenario for when you do not have a metronome going. And so I believe that pedal, I'm not sure of that model, if it has a metronome in it, but obviously that's the first step of, being able to hit the button better on time. But I'll keep going on with what I'm talking about without the metronome. So anyway, I'll think 16ths or eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and I'll hit it on the and of 4 before I get into the loop. So that way, and I, stop saying anything into the mic. So that way, when I get back to that downbeat, I know that there's no click happening, and that totally eliminates any like hiccup possibilities. So let me give you an example, Connor, if you can give me a close up on my foot here. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2. Right, you can hear that click. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right, 2 and 3 and. So that's one thing you can do. It's a lot harder to do than just do it on the one, but yeah. Do you want to elaborate on that, Orion? That's kind of my thing here without a metronome. And of course, wait, one more thing though. I forgot to mention. I'm going to show you this built-in feature. I'll just show it really quick. The rhythm feature. Once you start a loop, you'll see that light blinking, and that's kind of the tempo. So if I turn on the rhythm, it's going to already be synced up to that. Right? So you can have that on too. And that'll help kind of get your loops better, I guess, or just help you feel the time. But it's just practice. That's another main thing. So that's it. That's all I have. So Orion, you can take it away. Hopefully that answered your question, Mark. Let me know.
Yeah, it does come back to just practicing. Getting used to playing to a metronome and to a beat is a skill, just like any skill, like learning a foreign language or anything. When you haven't had the experience, it's a new, difficult thing. So, yeah, I just recommend being patient with yourself, just take the time to get in time and keep studying music and exploring it. Like, that's what it takes. My looper, if it has a feature where if I press the record a little bit before the downbeat as in 1, if we're counting to 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I pressed record on like 3 or 4, it'll kind of get ready for it. It'll start kind of flashing, and then it'll start recording on that next measure. So that's a feature that I use a lot to go, like, press record and then get ready.
Yeah.
That's a whole art of itself. You have, like, even if you're really good at playing music, you then have to get good at pressing a button and coming back to your position. Like, it's a whole new process.
Yeah, I saw you doing that.
Yeah, it's another skill that you can develop. It just takes that practice, the muscle memory. And
yeah, that thing is, so I forget what that feature is called. If anyone knows, let me know. But I thought it was like auto record or some kind of like auto count in, where what he's talking about is different than what I was talking about. He's saying his looper has this built-in thing where you hit it before, but it actually starts perfectly on the 1 by yourself, so you don't have to actually hit it perfectly. So that's a big thing, and I don't know any other loopers. I'm sure there are ones that have that. So, but yeah, what I was talking about is like hitting the loop on the and of 4, and then at the end of the loop, hitting it on the and of 4 again. So getting precise. So, and I don't want to like say, obviously you could use that, but I would, like everyone to and all my students to get it down first without, I feel like it's, and I shouldn't say a crutch, but it's like auto start. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's a super handy thing for like when Orion was looping. He was doing so many different things. He's like, boom, and then like hit record. And like, if you're doing that many different things, that would be so hard to hit the loop perfectly every time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just a whole different style than what I'm doing kind of here. So I'm super stoked to be doing this with you. I'm learning a lot from you already.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, same here. This is awesome. yeah, where are we at with everything? Like, I just want to, yeah, if anything, just touch in again on that, the fact that looping, yeah, there's always that kind of concept. Are you going to make something that you've made before, like a song that you already know, or are you going to do something new? And yeah, I love that looping can, yeah, unlike a DAW, like, yeah, we have to recreate the same song over and over again, and every time it becomes a little different. That's where looping reminds me of this living, changing process. Like, loops will kind of take on a life of their own sometimes and go places you never expected them. So, yeah, especially if you feature vocalists with them, it like becomes, yeah, an amazing process that's bigger than just where it started. But yeah, like, I wonder what would be helpful for people. It would be cool. Does anyone have any other questions, or do we need more examples? Yeah, I also want to touch in that I use this a lot for practicing, especially like my trombone, which I want to get towards the end.
Yeah.
And just kind of give an example of how I can make a background to use an instrument to be like a lead solo instrument, you know, over the background. And that's kind of where, yeah, for me in my process, the looping comes in. Like, I usually make a background and then interact with it, and it's new every time. So, yeah.
Yeah, we should do that at the end for sure. As well as the hand whistle. You got to show everyone the hand whistle.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that he does very well, too, by the way. And we should let's do a kalimba jam. Maybe we could can we do the kalimba jam into the trombone, or would that be a separate one? Yeah, maybe if no one has any questions, I guess, or anything else to say, we could just wrap this up and do one final jam, like an improv jam. Yeah.
And I guess I just want to give a quick example. Like, I'm using a metronome, but that's not always necessary. Like, right now I can hear it, but if I were to just press record, so it would start recording. But that is actually why I need the metronome, because I can't just like press it and get back to my instrument. If I hit the metronome, it allows me to press record and come back here and start my loop. So I was going to give an example of not using the metronome, but I actually need it. So
Yeah.
But just so you know, it's not always essential. Like, you can loop without a metronome. You can loop without keyboards. Most of my main influences just use a mic, and
Yeah.
I just happen to be a keyboardist, so I love looping with a keyboard. But follow your heart and your intuition. Make your own process, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and keep doing it.
Yeah, and let's give a shout out quick before you start to Jason Goodman. He made that kalimba. He has several amazing instruments that he makes, so you should check him out. I'll tag him on the chat here, or somebody could. And he's a fellow looper dude as well. I'm gonna try to loop with my looper on yours. We'll see if it works. Nice. That was fun. I'm glad we recorded it too.
Yeah, so that was an example of unscripted freestyle fun. And it's so weird because you can, you know, as a musician myself, like, it's hard to do that sometimes. Like, yeah, there's challenges in life, like, but I'm just so grateful to be in an opportunity and yeah, good, yeah, like to have the right state of mind, the right feelings, like it, yeah, being human is a crazy thing, and there's ups and downs, and no, but that's where you just have to stick with it. You have to keep practicing. You have to just keep trying. It's a very vulnerable process. Like, you're putting your heart out there on the line, and as a keyboardist, like, you just have to get over all these like weird sounding sounds, like getting used to playing a drum kit on a keyboard. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, but like at first, yeah, it can be a really weird thing to get used to. But the trick is just keep doing it. Keep following the music you love. Learn the songs you like, and learn how to make music and how to explore with music.
Yeah, well said, Orion. Yeah, that was super fun. I think we've done that at Shebang maybe 4 or 5 or maybe longer years ago. So yeah, I always enjoy doing that. And yeah, like he said, this is tough work to do this looping stuff to get it down. And yeah, we're just super excited you guys hung out today. I want to give a special thanks to Connor Helms. He's doing the video stuff, video switching and magic back there. And Nick Blodgett is on sound tonight. And we're super stoked to have a cool crew and having a good time here, I guess. And yeah, I guess this is it for tonight. If anyone else has any other questions, do you guys see anything out there on the chats, Facebook or YouTube? Give it one last check. Yeah, and Orion and I, of course, along with 20 some other teachers, are available for online and in-person lessons here at Bellingham School of Music in Bellingham, Washington. But, you know, you can join us from wherever. That's about all we have for today. Have a good night, have a good weekend, and stay safe. Have a good holiday season, and we're signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.
You kill the sound, Nick.